PR Asia to share, lalo na this afternoon. So, I'm Gilda, I'm from Coca-Cola, and my role is Sustainability and Community Affairs. In other words, development worker ako sa Coca-Cola. So, sino dito ang sustainability practitioners? Wala. Konti, no? Community practitioners. No? So, okay, in my presentation, I hope that you will be able to learn some insights, and this is something sana that you can bring to your organizations. Kasi ang role natin as PR, nag-e-evolve ito because sometimes it cannot be about storytelling. We have to create proof points. Okay? So, okay, next slide please. Can you help me? Next slide. Okay, so for context, kasi when we develop our community and sustainability programs, no, when we say mga community programs, it should be able to, for organization to help communities transcend poverty issues, no. And to be able to do that, this is something that we cannot just plug and say that maybe I'm in an energy company and maybe I will probably make a feeding program. It has to be meaningful to our organization. So it is important that we understand our business and economic profile. So for Coca-Cola, we're a beverage company. So ano ba nagagawa ng beverage company, no? And how can we transcend poverty issues? So beyond the Coca-Cola that you drink, we actually have 4,100 types of products. We have water, we have juices, and in some countries we have iron fortified beverages, no? Because these things, this type of beverages help address yung mga malnourishment issues, yung mga things that we distribute in school. So in terms of our business profile or footprint, we are more than 700,000 globally. And in the Philippines, we have about 19 plants. So we're all over the Philippines. So if ever we're going to implement programs, no, this is something that we can do in terms of scale. So if your company is a bit small, maybe you can concentrate in your circle of community. But if you have a global channel, no, maybe this is something that you can really harmonize all your objectives in addressing social issues and really contribute dun sa tinatawag natin mga sustainability agenda or the SDGs. Okay, so we are actually much more. We are much more than selling beverages. And today, next slide, I am happy to share with you what is Coca-Cola beyond the beverages that we all enjoy. So you see, we are more than 132 years globally and more than, I think, about 106 in the Philippines. And we've always been part of the community. Sabi namin, if we will grow our business, that growth has to be inclusive. Why? Of course, if you have thriving communities, that means it is good for the business. And if the business is good, then you will be able to provide etong mga sustainability programs natin, community programs, no? Okay, so, next slide. Okay. So, in creating our community and sustainability programs, the best guiding principles would be the Sustainable Development Goals. I'm sure you are all familiar with this, right? Okay. So this is actually the blueprint or roadmap for us to be able to help in transcending poverty issues. So since we have a very big social, economic, and business footprint, we are able to really hit all the spots of the SDGs. So this slide is something that I can share if PR Asia would share to the audience, no? Because hindi lang mabasa dito, under each of the SDGs, we have a corresponding program. But that is not something that we just plucked out. Now, okay, we will do feeding program, no? This is something that we localize and make sure that this is very relevant to the countries where we operate. Let's take, for example, in the Philippines, poverty issues. So how are we going to address poverty issues? We have to build schools because this is something that the government prioritizes. So you really have to find that alignment. Okay, next slide, please. Now, globally, we integrated all the SDGs in what we call the sustainability framework. So are you familiar with your company's sustainability framework? Hindi kayo yung practitioners, but at least are you familiar with your framework? Familiar ba? Hindi. O, nasa na mga community workers dito. So anyway, the way Coca-Cola is doing it, sabi namin, if we're going to integrate SDGs in our sustainability framework, it has to still start with our core business processes. Again, we are a beverage company. Can you help address hunger? Diba? Or if not, how can we address hunger, malnourishment, dehydration through our portfolio? And then next, so go back to the slide please. Okay, and then the next one is, in our sustainability pillar, we also look at the immediate community that we belong. And here you can see that we have leadership programs on women economic empowerment. Why? Because we are in the business of selling beverages. And most of the sellers are women. So it really makes sense if we do something in addressing mga women empowerment issues. No? And again, going back to the SDGs, women economic empowerment is one of those things that will help us address poverty issues. And of course, we belong in this world, and environment is very important. And so, since we are in the business of beverages and packaging, so these are the two environment efforts that we really look at. So sabi namin doon, in this space, we're going to do something about water. Because, of course, it's our primary ingredient. And then next is packaging is an issue, and we want to be part of the solution. Di ba nakikita natin yan ngayon? Di ba? Usong-uso ngayon about the packaging issue, and you would see the bottle of Coca-Cola there. So what is Coca-Cola doing? So, as you can see, all of these sustainability pillars has something to do with our business, and these are something that would address the SDGs. No? Next slide, please. Isip pa ba? Okay. So, going back to the Philippines, so that's the global, no? That's the global. So, we have very focused sustainability pillars globally. And to achieve scale, so that we will be able to impact the SDGs, sabi namin, all countries should be able to localize that. And of course, we just picked out. And in the Philippines, the way we localized it is that, again, going back to our core business processes, what kind of community programs can we develop that would really help us in addressing poverty issues? And we selected this: women economic empowerment, and then water leadership, and of course packaging. Next slide, please. So, on women economic empowerment, anong ginagawa ng Coke on women economic empowerment? So, it's not only in the Philippines but globally, 70% of the stakeholders in our value chain are women, from farmers, artisans, suppliers, retailers, all are women. In fact, in this room, puro women. May mga konti din tayong mga men, but ganun tayo karami, no? on women. But then we realized that globally, women, we share 80% of the work. But we are only paid 40% of the world's income. Yet 90%, we invest sa education, health of our family. And that's why SDGs identified that in addressing poverty issues, you have to help women. And so for Coca-Cola, it really makes sense, no? If we help women, then communities will thrive. And it goes back to the same principle. Thriving communities, thriving business. So, we launched in 2011 our 5x20 program globally. Our goal is to enable the economic empowerment of 5 million women across our value chain. No? And, give them the right skills, the right training. And in the Philippines, this is how we interpreted it. Next slide, please, and play the video.
Sari Sari Store is a popular business in the Philippines for stay-at-home moms like Aling Celia. These traditional retail outlets, which are usually located near or in their homes, give women like Aling Celia a chance to juggle the roles of being wife, mother, an entrepreneur. But Ate Celia says it is not an easy task to run a sari-sari store business. Family members often get supplies from the store, and these are not accounted for. Another problem is that it's inevitable to extend credit to neighbors or friends, and at times, it is difficult to collect, which leaves the store's inventory depleted without realizing income. And since they are mostly stay-at-home mothers who do not have a legal representation to easily acquire loans from formal institutions, such as banks, they often resort to risky loan transactions with loan sharks. Women like Ate Celia are the pillars of the Coca-Cola business. So in 2010, Coca-Cola made a bold commitment to economically empower 5 million women by the year 2020 by providing them access to business skills and life training, access to capital and assets, and access to peer mentoring support. But Coca-Cola realizes this is not an easy feat, and so we collaborated with various organizations and agencies with similar goals and program concepts to complete the components and be able to implement the program and achieve our goals on a nationwide scale. The first step in the STAR program is recruitment. Women participants are carefully selected and should fit several criteria, but above all, they must be hungry to learn and get out of poverty. Once chosen, these women go through the 12-week core training program. Coca-Cola also provides STAR trainees with 2 options to address the challenge on access to financing and capital through product loans or cash loans. With access to financing and capital in place, Coca-Cola makes sure sari-sari store owners are provided with merchandising support. Women economic empowerment can be achieved over time. Belonging in an organization will give them the right support and confidence. Economically empowering women contributes to sustainable communities. Coca-Cola believes that empowering women who are already pillars of our business is a different sustainable way to do business. When women like Ate Celia work, so does everything else.
So, you see, it's very much tied to our business, no? And you can see how much more we can do if we really deep dive and look at the SGDs and how the SGDs can guide us to achieve programs like this. So, next slide, please. So, this is our STAR program, and in the Philippines, since we started in 2011, we have already impacted 150,000 women retailers. There is actually about 1.2 million sari-sari stores in the Philippines, and we are on track on hitting 200,000. Every year, we train like from 25,000 to 30,000 sari-sari store owners. And we implemented this all over the Philippines. No? So, you know, when you develop your program, maybe look for an alignment so that it can be sustainable. Next slide. Okay, so of course, what would be the impact? Because we talked about social impact. What would be the impact of this training of this STAR program to women? So we also run our study, and hindi lang clear dito, no? But it is very good to know that aside from improving their business, because they are able to increase their sales by 17% and increase their inventory 20%, they are able to, you know, we are able to empower the retailers to really think about on how they're going to manage their business and to be confident. So we also measure those things like confidence. So again, if you develop your program to really build credibility to it, we must have our measurements in place. Next slide, please. Okay, so from women economic empowerment, we learned that these women, when they undergo training, they really group together. So, ayaw nilang maghiwalay-hiwalay. And in fact, some of them already created their own cooperatives and their organization. And the biggest organization or association that was built because of the STAR program, because of their samahan and their peer mentoring, is the Philippine Association of Stores and Carinderia Owners. So, from women economic empowerment, moving to political empowerment. Diba? That's the highest form of empowerment. So what I'm saying is that sometimes when you do the right thing, when you put the right mechanisms in place, it will have a life of its own, and that is a true social impact. Next slide, please. Okay, so how are we able to implement a program on a nationwide scale? We were able to really find passionate partners, equally passionate partners, and the key to this is to really partner with a national level organization, and if you implement this at the local level, maybe identify regional partners. So this is women economic empowerment, and this is very aligned with meron tayong tinatawag gender and development program of the Philippines, and we aligned it to them. And I think that at that time, the government is very hungry to really come up with a gender and development program. So we were able to align with them. So this is not something that an organization can do by itself. If you can find true alignment, and if you are able to design your program in such a way that it will have social impact, even government will adopt it. So TESDA adopted the program. They actually gave us senior leadership to help manage the program. And for our microfinance partners, they really put resources, money, trainers to it. And this is the team that really built the program together. So it's not just for you as a brand. If you have a well thought out and well-designed program, you can be an enabler of these types of programs. Next slide, please. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is a shared bet with government. And so when government, whenever they report on women economic empowerment programs, they report our STAR program. And I had an opportunity to be alongside our government, representing this at the United Nations Council on the Status of Women, ASEAN, ADB. So, it's not just about storytelling, it's building credibility to the program that will really create that good reputation that we are really looking for as PR practitioners. Next slide, please. Okay, now, next, another sustainability program that is very much aligned with our core business is water leadership. Bakit? Again, we are a beverage company, and we said that we will give back every single drop of water that we use in our manufacturing and production of our beverages. So that's a commitment that we made. Why? Kasi pag nawalan ng tubig, wala kaming ingredient, di ba? And in terms of water leadership and water stewardship program, there are two ways that we do it. Replenishing communities, providing water to upland communities, and of course, replenishing back to nature. So I have another video to show how we are implementing that in the Philippines. Next slide, please, and video.
Dito yung anak ko na talaga nahihirapan sa kami. Nahulog po yung mister ko. Tapos po nabali ang likod niya. Ngayon po, hindi po siya makabuhat ng mabigat. Ako po yung mabigat. Ako nagpapasok. Talaga nahihirapan po kami. Minsan, 2 beses kami umihigin. Isa sa umaga, isa sa hapon. Bali-ali po gano'n ito. Pupunta po kami doon sa bukal. Bali, 30 minutes po. Pagbalik po namin, mga 1 oras na yun.
Kung hindi ka pumayag dito, wala ka tubig, uwi ka na. Kailangan kontinsibo lang. Kasi pagbaba namin sa bukal, tumagal muna. Tapos, nung pauwi na kami, yan no, mabigat na. Ito na kami nahihirapan. Yun yung patag, tapos may iba. Tapos, makapakang lang yung bato. Doon ka madudulas. Pag wala ng tubig ko sa liver namin, nagawa ko para sinugatan ko yung isang kahoy. Doon ako sa mga tubig. Doon ang mga ilaw ng mga bata. Doon kami nahihirapan. Inala namin sa tawa yung pagod.
Coca-Cola globally has a commitment to return every drop of water it uses in its beverages to communities and nature. In the Philippines, Agos is our initiative to do that. What we do is we look for waterless communities and provide them access to potable water.
Tagal-tagal po ng panahon, halos yung ibang matatanda sa amin, nangamatay na sila, nangangarap sila noon na gusto nilang magkatubig. Sabi ko po sa kanila bilang pastor, alam po ninyo, kung tayo ay magkaisa, manalangin tayo sa Panginoon, hilingin natin sa Kanya, ibibigay po niya yun.
Our partner, AIDFI, Alternative Indigenous Development Foundation, was approached by Attorney Vivian of Kapampangan Mananakaran Foundation because she wanted ramp pumps installed in Inaralo.
Ang rampam na to ay hangin lang po yung nagpapaandar sa kanya. Talagang magaling po yung nag-isip nito kasi wala siyang makina, napapaakyat niya yung tubig sa napakalayong lugar.
Yung mga enters po sa amin, nakuha po sila sapagkat ngayon lang po nila naranasan na kung saan ang gawin ng tubig.
Hindi na kami lalay. Gusto na namin dito.
Buti na po ngayon dahil may tubig na kami. Kaya nagpapasalamat nga kami doon sa mga dahil kung wala po sila, wala kami tubig.
Hindi po pwedeng magbasan sapagkat na patuloy at pasasalamat.
See, water is essential to life, and it is essential to our business. In the Philippines, we have 180 Agos rock pump sites, and it's just really amazing how you would see the transformation. You know, when we live here in Metro Manila, if you open the tap stand, there's water. Nakita yung tap stand nila, that's Coke. No, just joking. But no, what I'm saying is that you see the way we approach it. You have to empower the communities. And where is empowerment here? Women and children, they usually spend 6 to 8 hours getting water from the low stream and bringing it up. So imagine 6 to 8 hours, a child and a mother. Instead of doing that, di ba? By giving the community this ramp pump access, they can do more productive things. The nanay can maybe have a sari-sari store, and of course the child to study. So you see, maybe these things, how do you empower communities? Such a big phrase, but really providing them access would really make a lot of difference. So next slide, please. So actually, these are just the impact numbers, and we are really happy to share that we were able to achieve our water neutrality. We were able to give back more than 100% that we have already used up to the communities, because aside from the ramp pump, we also have partnership with WWF in rehabilitating watershed and other environmental NGOs. Next, please. Okay, so another in our world pillar is the issue of waste. I'm sure meron na ditong mga hindi nagagamit ng straws. Meron na? Meron na. Meron na rin ditong hindi bumibili ng bottled water. Meron na ba? Bakit naman? Recyclable naman yan, di ba? So, okay. At Coca-Cola, we recognize that there is a global packaging problem. We recognize that. And we want to be part of the solution. And so our CEO at the beginning of this year, February, gave us an assignment. Sabi niya, kayong lahat, you have to find ways on how to get back all the packaging that we sell out there. So that is our next task. Next slide, please. Okay, so that is our new program we call World Without Waste. And as I've said, really finding solutions. And when I say solution, we have to start with the way we design our packaging. If you could show the next slide, please. Okay, so we have 3 approaches. See, even we have community programs, you also have to have protocols. It's not just like gawin lang natin to or magpa-party tayo. No? We really have to have measurable protocols and, you know, to find ways where we can benchmark if we are successful. So the way we're going to do our World Without Waste program, we have 3 ways of doing it. Of course, we have to start with the design, the way we design our packaging. No? With all of our packaging, most of them are already 100% recyclable. But we can do more. And so we are going to introduce more packaging in the coming years and introduce what we call the recycled PET. So we are on a journey to do that. The next one is to work with communities to do collection. So at present, we are actually piloting in schools, in provinces, on how to do collection. Because if we're going to do collection, we don't want to disrupt the informal waste sector because there's really a lot of people that would draw their income from upcycling and collecting our packaging. And again, basic concept and principle at Coca-Cola, whenever we do any program, we have to partner. Because what we know is to sell Coke, but there are a lot of experts out there that could help us. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I was able to jump to the portions of this pillar. Okay, next. Yeah, next slide. Yun na, pabilis ako kasi 3 minutes na lang daw ako. Okay, so next slide please. Just going to, okay. So, aside from those programs that would really have an impact in our business, no, that's very close to our business, we also recognize that locally there are initiatives where the government have priority areas. So we also help out with those priority areas. We have a foundation in the Philippines that provide funding for NGOs. So if you have NGO partners, they can really look it up in our website and apply for grants. But globally, we're really happy to share that we were able to distribute $1 billion funding globally to support NGOs. Next slide. Okay, on our lesson on sustainability, as mentioned, we have to scale our impact, and to be able to scale that, we have to build strong partnerships, government, NGOs, and believe me, even our competitors, we can partner. Next slide, please. Number 5, keep score to drive results, no? So that you are driven, you know that you're making an impact. You have to set metrics, you have to set standards, you have to set third-party researcher to show that if your initiatives are really creating impact. Next. Okay, and of course, part of our role as public affairs, we have to tell the story, no, to build our reputation. But of course, it feels good, no, especially for your associates or your employees, to know if your company is really doing well. Next slide. Okay, so I end my presentation. I have 1 minute. Diba? With this one, because this is really the message of Coca-Cola whenever we work in communities. Roll video, please.
Bawat araw, sa bawat paglakbay, ikaw ang nasa isip ko. Minamahal kita, sarap kang makita, nakangiti, nakatawa, may lakas at may pag-asa.
Yun lang po, maraming salamat.
Thank you, Gilda. We have a couple of questions for you. All right. Do you recommend advertising or promoting the company's
CSR efforts, for example, relief efforts, donations, and others, when does it start to become inauthentic? Where and when do you draw the line?
Okay, so I think what's good about our programs in Coca-Cola when we talk about it, it is deeply rooted. It's not something that we started yesterday and we talked about today. It's very calculated. And at Coca-Cola, we have what we call, we do it, then we say it. So we really have to build, and then that's the only time that we can have authenticity in saying it, because our consumers know. They can see through it. In fact, ang dami-dami na yan. And minsan parang sobrang overloaded na ang communications on what organizations are doing. But if it's not built on solid ground, then it will collapse.
Fair enough. And this is the next question, Gilda. CSR is noble and needed, but how do you measure quantitatively its impact on public relations?
Okay, doing good business is good business, no? Doing good is good business. I think at Coca-Cola, since we're really an old company, it's really beyond public relations already, because again, we have a mantra that if we're going to grow our business, that growth has to be inclusive. And we designed that because we know that if, as I mentioned earlier, if businesses around, if communities around you are thriving, then they buy your products. So you have to look at it from a strategic perspective and not PR perspective. So you really have to onboard your leadership. No? So that's why you don't get into trouble that pagdating ng quantitative impact is medyo sasablay tayo. But on another note, similar to this, we launched a campaign before called Live Positively to really experiment that what if we amplify the good things that we do? Will it hit our corporate reputation? And so we again, at Coca-Cola, we always measure things. So before really talking about the campaign, nag-survey muna kami, and we benchmark our company across versus mga companies na feeling namin na mataas ang corporate reputation. Hindi ko na nasasabihin mo na. No? And then after that, we measured back. And then it really showed that when you communicate your programs, it will really build your reputation. So we're kind of up there at that time, and hopefully it will now.
Hopefully it will. All right. We still have another one, Gilda. Does it matter how long you have been in the industry to give back to the community?
No, you'll be surprised because the trend now is that there are what we call the social enterprises. No? Diba? Ito yung mga awake na mga organizations. You don't have to be big. You don't have to be an old company to do that. No? And this social enterprises, in fact, we also started a social enterprise in Toronto. Ito, advertise ko na. Itong mga earrings ko, this is made of our programs in this one. And that gives back directly to yung beneficiaries, sila na rin yung owners. So I think even the small startup social enterprise can create even bigger impact kasi mas more maliit lang yun no? Mas maliit lang sila so they can really feel that. So the answer is no.
Thank you, Gilda. Everybody please give a round of applause for Ms. Gilda Maquilan.